Albinism is a term that is used to refer to medical conditions that develop from a progressiveness of a genetic mutation that causes the absence of pigment in the body known as melanin. This medical condition is not only seen in humans but the rest of the animal kingdom as well. Some animals share the same characteristics with humans in the lack of color, which normally leaves an animal to be different than the others and appear whiter than their normal color. According to Brilliant, albinism has been defined as an inherited disorder of melanin biosynthesis that leads to a variable phenotype classified according to the mutation in one among many genes. In an article written by Under the Same Sun organization, What is Albinism? Albinism is defined as a genetically inherited condition that is rare and non-contagious that can occur to any person in all the countries of the world regardless of their ethnicity. It happens to people that have both their father and mother carrying the albinism gene themselves, even though they might not have been affected, but they still can pass it over to their children, who might also pass it over to their children's children. This condition brings about the lack of pigmentation in the skin, eyes, and hair, as well as making someone becomes vulnerable to the exposure of the sun and any kind of bright light. The following are types of albinism. Albinism that affects the skin, hair, and eyes. This type of albinism is also known as oculocutaneous albinism oca. Not only in Tanzania but in most sub-Saharan African countries is this most visible form of albinism. It is said to be the most visible because the subjects are particularly vulnerable and noticeable in countries that have nearly dark-skinned albinism that only affects the eyes. This type is known as ocular albinism (OI) and is somewhat uncommon. In many cases, males are said to be the verified normally. The children with OI may have skin and hair color that are ordinary but slightly lighter than those of other family members. Albinism with HPS. Researchers have also acknowledged a type of albinism that comes with extra characteristics. This is the Hermansky-Pudlik syndrome HPS. With just having albinism, people with HPS have a tendency to bleeding and bruising. Some that are also associated with HPS suffer lung and bowel disease. But in Tanzania, it is said to be so rare and no records of it can be.